couple of minutes time. Just give me one.
So shall I start?
I think so. You should start. Let's keep time.
Okay.
Ashwini, thank you for your feedback, but let us take the lead on the event. We appreciate you joining over here, but we'll make calls if that's okay. Sushma, just wait for 5 minutes. I'll just lesser than that,
Sure.
so we can have them joining in. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I can see our master of ceremony is joining in.
Yeah, there she is.
Hi, Abdul Rahim.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Puram, just let me know when to start.
We can start now, madam.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to see Amanda's face. I mean, letting us know she's there. Amanda, are you with us?
So we'll start now. Good evening.
Brilliant.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests from all over the world. I am Toastmaster Sushma Gupta, your virtual Sergeant at Arms today. Welcome to Bahrain Distinguished Toastmasters event. As we are meeting virtually in your homes, I hope you know where the nearest exit is. I also hope you know where the nearest washrooms are. Please ensure all mobile devices and other noise-producing devices are on silent mode. Also ensure you are logged in from only one device. Let us remind ourselves of the Toastmasters International core values, which are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. The mission of a Toastmasters is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has an opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. Please sit back, relax, enjoy, and have fun. Now, to take over the rest of the session, we have a very beautiful educator. She joined Toastmasters in 2019. She is a member of 3 clubs: Sri Lanka Symposium Toastmasters Club, Bahrain Distinguished Toastmasters Club, and Bahrain Advanced Toastmasters Club. Currently, she is serving as a PR manager for Division C. Please welcome our Master of Ceremonies for the event, Toastmaster Amanda.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Sushma Gupta. Dignitaries, Toastmasters, friends, and guests, welcome. Today, we are gathered virtually from all corners of Toastmasters world to witness the performance of one of the top speakers of our organization. We are gathered here to lend a helping hand, an encouraging word, an inspirational evaluation, and motivational mentoring for DTM Verity Prize as she journeys onto the world champion of public speaking. In the words of our founding father, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, we realize that the 2 most important factors in Toastmasters is mentoring and evaluation. There is no doubt that if these 2 are done well and there is a good mentoring program, your club will be filled with spark plugs ready to fire upon request. Mentoring and evaluation creates enthusiasm. And once you light that fire, The only thing it needs is some kindling. In the spirits of fellowship and camaraderie, with the intention and objective of education and learning, the Bahrain Distinguished Toastmasters Club is humbled, privileged, and honored to welcome you today. We will witness the delivery of two scintillating speeches, a very special panel of evaluation and collection of your valuable feedback through the online survey. Our guest of honor today is DTM Verity Prize. She is a multi-talented singer, a songwriter, and actress. Winner of the Catch a Rising Star Award in Florida, USA in 2002. She became one of the forerunners of the crowdfunding in South Africa when she sold 2,000 copies of her album that didn't exist in 2006. As a result, she is a sought-after speaker on innovation and the power of thinking differently, and now owns and runs Tap Results, where she is a full-time speaker and facilitator. She is with us here today as one of the Region 11's representative of the World Champion of Public Speaking. Please give DTM Verity Prize a warm Bahrain welcome.
Are you wanting my speech now? Just checking.
Our panel of evaluation comprised of the following individuals. DTM Dr. Babu Ramachandran is the head of American Mission Hospital in SAR and is the founding president of WMC Toastmasters Club. He has been a leading light in Bahrain in terms of medicine, Toastmasters, and public service. He is specialized in the representatory medicine and a pioneer of the anti-smoking movement in Bahrain. Dr. Babu Ramachandran is the vice chairman of the Indian Community Relief Organization in Bahrain. He has won the prestigious Toastmasters World Tape Speech Contest in 2003. Please welcome DTM Dr. Babu Ramachandran. DTM Nancy George Vijo is a human resource manager with advanced expertise in applied behavior analysis and specialized in working with special children. She set up her own venture called the Pitch Club, a community.
I think we've lost her.
Am I audible?
Now you are.
You're not visible, you're audible.
Education and confidence building center for children from the age of 3. The beautiful mother of 2 beautiful girls, DTM Nancy is a multiple times winner of the District 20 evaluation and table topic contest. Please welcome DTM Nancy George Vijo. DTM Prince George is a logistic and managing the freight commercials desk with Agility Logistic Kuwait. Immediate past area director of Area 17, immediate past president of Critical Thinkers and past president of Allied Elite Debaters Toastmasters Club, Kuwait. DTM Prince is the 2018 District 20 Evaluation Champion and captained the Kuwait debate team that won Dubai, Qatar, and Bahrain. Please welcome DTM Prince George. DTM Hisham Jeffrey, a lifelong fan of reading, books, and the beautiful language. Senior lecturer in the Banking and Finance Center at the BIBF and the 2019 District 20 Evaluation Contest Champion. Please welcome DTM Hisham Jeffrey. Toastmaster Abdul Rahman is an expert in sales and marketing and serves as the export manager of a large dairy company in Bahrain. Holding a master's degree in literature, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim has won the Bahrain Tall Tale Championship, been awarded multiple times in evaluation and international speeches, while also standing tall in the district stage for humorous speech in 2012. Please welcome our language evaluator, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Toastmaster Nagendra Sitaram is head of network infrastructure at Gulf Aluminium Rolling Mills Company, Bahrain. He has served as a consultant at Goldman's and holding an MBA from the University of Leicester and a bachelor's of engineering in electronic communication. He holds multiple qualifications in technology solutions and leadership, and he hails from Elite Bahrain Communicators Club in Bahrain. Toastmaster Nagendra is a veteran judge and chief judge, a highly proficient event moderator, a technology servant, and a smiling tower of strength all across District 20. Please welcome our timing evaluator, Toastmaster Nagendra Sitara. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for us to head into the business end of today's program. Hope you all are ready. Let us prepare ourselves to hear the first of two world-class speeches. This is the proposed speech to be delivered at the semi-finals of the World Champion of Public Speaking, Verity Prize, The Way to Leave the World, A Way to Leave the World, Verity Prize.
Raise your virtual hand if when you were a teenager, your mother ever gave you unwanted advice. Raise your other hand if you later realized she was right. Contest chair and fellow former teens. When I was a teenager and my parents would pick me up from school, the children would shout, "Verity, your grandparents are here." I think you get the picture. They were old. Their idea of heaven, a long weekly walk on the beach, was my teen idea of hell. Picture it. My skinny dad would put on his oldest, baggiest tracksuit and a straw hat, and my gray-haired mom would borrow his other baggy tracksuit and then tightly tie on a headscarf. It was like watching a Halloween horror show of a scarecrow taking a witch for a walk. Like any self-respecting teenager, I just walked far behind them until I would bump into my mom, who was always picking up pieces of plastic. It drove me mad. Mom, oh, it's so embarrassing, and you're not making a difference. With the patience of a saint, Mom would take a deep breath and then say, Verity, I know you find me mortifying, but until I am gone, I will challenge you to always leave the world better than you find it. Surprise! A teenager ignored her mother. But I did not deter Mom. She made it her mission to always leave things better. Until, after 45 years of marriage, my dad, her soulmate, suffered a stroke and died. My mom was broken. Without Dad, she was lost, and she began to fill that emptiness with wine. Bottles littered our home. Mom was unrecognizable. Eventually, her only hope was to check into rehab in Dad's baggy tracksuit and her headscarf. Crazy roommates, tattoos, nose rings. This was Mom's Halloween horror show. But this was where Mom got better. And then do you know what happened? She took on her own challenge and started helping her crazy roommates get better too. My embarrassing mom became the most popular person at rehab. She was their shoulder to cry on, their cool granny to confide in, and soon their Uber to AA meetings. Picture Mom in her headscarf with her tiny car crammed full of recovering addicts, all trying to educate her into the virtues of rap music. It's 11 years since my mom and dad reunited on a celestial beach. Her life never made the headlines, but there were long lines of people at her memorial, many with tattoos and nose rings. We put out this book for them to share memories of her, and story after story spoke of how she'd left them better. I love how she always cleaned up, even if it wasn't her mess. Your mom was the cool gran I always wanted. Sheila driving me to AA meetings is the reason I'm still clean. You know what? Her beach would have written the same story. And my story? It took losing my mom for me to finally realize that thinking I was ignoring her challenge for all those years, she had been subtly shaping who I've become. My home is littered with recycling bins. If someone asks for help, I have to give it. And on the beach, well, Mom is having a laugh because I cannot go for a walk without picking up pieces of plastic. It drives my family mad. This world is littered with problems: plastic, pollution, poverty, politics. But ask yourself, would any of these problems exist if the ones before us had left their world better? Given that you're on mute, I'm going to answer for you. No! If you think about it, all the good in this world is because someone has looked at their stretch of life and chosen to leave it better. You know, they're the obvious names: Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Mandela. But I'm interested in the not so obvious names. Yours, mine, my mom's. Great news. You don't need to make the headlines to leave a legacy. It doesn't matter if you're a great leader, a little old lady, or a bad-tempered teen. All that matters is that when it comes to the people and places on your stretch of life, you take up a simple challenge. A challenge that doesn't care who you are or how you dress to make it. It just cares that you choose to leave the world better than you find it. So raise your virtual hand if you are up for the challenge. Contest chair.
Thank you, DTM Verity Prize. Please give DTM Verity a huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, let us take 5 minutes of our evaluators to finalize their notes. Moderator, if you could please release the first audience survey now. Mr. Timer, would you? Thank you. We have now completed 5 minutes. Mr. Timer, Toastmaster Nagendra Sitaram, would you please let us know the timing performance of our speaker? The screen is yours.
Madam Toastmaster of the day, the time taken by the speaker was 5 minutes and 37 seconds. Sorry, 6 minutes and 37 seconds.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nagendra. Let us now hear from our first evaluator, DTM Prince George. The screen is yours.
Good evening. Just to check, am I audible? I am. Fantastic. Well, here we go. DTM Verity. What a wonderful, hard-hitting, emotional, heartwarming, and introspective speech. I must say that it actually reminded me of my relationship with my mother, which is very close to my heart. I'm actually a mama's boy. So thank you for the speech. It actually, touched a certain part of my heart, which was waiting to be touched, thinking about my mother always. So thank you for that. You had that emotional content in your speech. You touched upon two parts. Firstly, the role of your mother in your life, and also about how your mother was right. In fact, when you started the speech, you actually told us, you set an example saying, how many of you realize that your mother was right? Put your hands up. So I'm sure most of us connect with that, and that's really a strong way to connect with the audience, right? So that was really well done. You also went on with your speech to come up with the final message, which said that leave the world a better place than when you came in, right? So do things in a way that you've actually made a difference with your presence in this world, which also is a very strong message to put across to the audience. So that part is fantastic. The way you went through the speech, you really touched upon the emotional chord when you spoke first about your mother, then you moved towards the unfortunate demise of your father and how your mother handled it, the entire rehab situation, then the book, and then of course the call for action, and of course how fun loving your mother was, and then the call for action. So that entire flow of speech is very, we connect to the entire flow of speech, and it was very smooth. So that was really well done. uh, One thing was also well done was the characterization, because you actually defined, I could actually imagine how your mother looked with her gray hair, your father being skinny and with his baggy pants, and I really like that as well, DTM Verity. So that was well done as well, your characterization. Second, your audience involvement. Like I've already mentioned, you asked the audience to raise their hand, and then you asked rhetorical questions where we were also involved with the speech. So that was great. Okay. Now coming to where I think you could make slight, not drastic, because your speech is top class to start off with, but just minor changes that I feel you can take care of. Point number one is, I was actually waiting to hear a part where I would see where you have personally exhibited changes, or I'm sorry if I've missed that out in your speech, but certain changes that you may have personally exhibited after taking care of what you've learned from your mother through this journey, right? So maybe some examples that would tell us that Verity also has learned a certain things, and this is what she does, and this is why I should also do that. Why I should leave the world a better place, right? So that's one thing. The second was the statement where you spoke about your unfortunate demise of your father. At that part, I would have loved to hear another one more sentence to feel a little more emotionally connected about what your mother was actually going through in that situation, right? So that would be amazing as well if you could just add something on that. And the third, what very minor correction is, talking about the part where you said, "Can you picture my mother?" Right? So instead of saying that, if you could actually wear the scarf again, or just allow us to picture her directly rather than you saying it, that would be great, right? So overall, I think you gave a fantastic speech. You had great emotion, characterization, audience involvement, and if you just take care of the message, personal message that you're giving across, the little drama when it comes to your dad's unfortunate demise, and picturizing your mother, I think you've come up with a fantastic world-class speech, DTM Verity. All the best.
Thank you, DTM Prince. Now let us hear from our second evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Nancy George Vijo. The screen is yours.
DTM Verity. I should say it was a speech that moved me emotionally. And the biggest success of a speech is if your listeners are moved, if your judges are moved, if your audience are moved, you're already a winner. For me, like when I evaluated your speech, to be very honest, my internet connection was so bad that I could only hear bits and pieces on parts of your speech. So I will evaluate based on only what I have heard. And I personally, I truly believe that because this is the last week before your contest, you should be judged based on your judging criteria. So I cannot comment on the speech development at all because I have not heard the whole thing. But about the effectiveness, like I said, there are certain things when you spoke about your grandmother, when you spoke about your mother, about how she looked, you creating that visual imagery, speaking about your father's unfortunate demise, all that left me thinking. And that is the essence of effectiveness. I am sure it will leave the audience thinking. I'm sure it will leave the judges thinking. The third part is the physical, where I'm sure you've already aced the physical part of it. You are good with your body language. You know what has to be done. Your ease of taking and removing props, all that is spot on. Vocal variety, you are the queen of it. I am sure you don't have to do any sort of improvement in it as well as the correctness of the language. You have gained all that. Now the appropriateness as well, your little message is universal. People can incorporate it into their lives no matter what their age is. So I am sure that you have covered most of the parts in the judging criteria. I will not be able to give you any sort of corrections because I feel it would be unfair if I give you any corrections according to my opinion without hearing the full speech of yours. So I will leave you with this message, DTM Verity. The only person you need to convince is you. If you feel that your speech is good enough to go, if you feel that your message is strong enough and that's what you believe in, by all means, go ahead. We, District 20, will be there with you all along the way. And over to you.
Thank you, DTM Nancy. Let us now hear from our third evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Hisham Jeffrey. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies, DTM Verity. If I am to look at your speech and assess the strengths of this speech, there are so many gems in this particular speech, but I want to limit myself to 7 beautiful instances that you use speechcraft to its maximum. And the first of it is the use of this beautiful opening, where you used vocal variety, you used physical gestures, and you did something that is really difficult to do in this virtual environment, which, as DTM Friend said, is the engagement of the audience, and a very clever use of saying, raise your hand and connecting it to the virtual platform. I really like that. And the second one is this, if I'm to summarize the speech, it would be life, death, and rehab. And that was very clear of one story in 3 phases with very clear transitions leading logically into that message, which was leave the world a better place. I really enjoyed how you managed that. Your message had 5 great characteristics. It was simple, it was universal, it was practical to everyone, it was easily applicable, and very importantly, it was relevant for the time we are in today more than any other time. It was simple, universal, practical, applicable, and relevant, making it very, very powerful. The third great strength of this speech was the brilliant use of the storytelling model. Simply applied, but powerfully applied, showing the happy state of your parents, the conflict that came from the death, the resolution that came from rehab, and then finally the call to action, which was so beautifully communicated to the audience, professionally and skillfully done. The fourth great strength was the tying up of the opening to your conclusion, We always say that this should be done, but seeing it done with that level of seamlessness was a real masterclass. That was amazingly well done. The fifth was the light sprinkling of humor, which I think is an underestimated hallmark of your speaking. I like the fact that you used a prop that enhanced the validity of the message, which was the funeral testimonial. And to me, that was a poignant moment in your speech. And the final one is the character development. The dialogue, the characterization, and the use of the prop as the scarf was very, very apt. In order to make a few recommendations, your vocal variety is amazing. And one thing I would say is play it to the maximum. Two instances. Number one, the higher and the lower range. My mom died. The lower range. And Mom, you're not making a difference at the higher end. So this is something that you are a master at, and I think that you would really, really be able to win. The second recommendation is pause, eye contact, allow the emotion to sink, and then speak. The reason I say this is because you finished in 6 minutes and 37 seconds. So if the speech is to finish in 7 minutes and 20 seconds, you still have 43 seconds. If nothing else, you can use that to pause. I'm sure we will see you at number one. I wish you all the best. Back to you, Madam Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, DTM Hisham. Let us now hear from the World Tape Speech Champion, DTM Dr. Babu Ramachandran. DTM Dr. Babu Ramachandran, the screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, and the star of today, Ms. Verity Price. What a fantastic message, quite relevant to the present day circumstances that you presented in 6 minutes, 37 seconds. The connection with the audience, the way you transitioned between each phase, reminding us of your parents. And as was mentioned by a previous evaluator, I could really visualize your dad, your mom, and the way you went backwards and bumped into her. It was just unraveling before my eyes. And I'm sure the audience will also feel it, because that was the relevance of this topic. And it's quite relevant to any generation today. Take the kids, take the adults, because the world is not going through what it should really be going through. We have to choose to leave the world a better place than when we came in. A message which has to be ingrained, not every hour, but every minute to everyone. And that choice of the topic is admirable. Hats off to you, Verity, for choosing such a wonderful topic. And it was interspersed with so many beautiful use of the language. Amazing, the way you crafted your speech. I don't have anything more to say about the way you crafted it, because it had a smooth flow and it went on from one string to the other to the other. So this kept me captivated throughout the speech, the smile on your face. So nice, because when a person smiles on the stage, especially on the virtual stage, that attracts everyone, and we tend to continue to listen to your speech. You see, the tribute that you paid to your mom, your dad, was again a reflection of your mind going out to the people. And that will reach us, because everybody would love to pay tribute to their parents. However, I feel that your voice modulation could change a little more. Like, there was a beautiful part in which you said, the beach would have written the same story. Wow, a great sentence, but it should have been forcefully said so that it impacted me. I caught that message, but it could have been delivered in a better way. And again, at times, as was said by Hisham itself, I would like to say the same thing. Pausing, bringing your voice low, and showing a lot of emotion, especially on the virtual stage. You really need to focus on these things. With that powerful command of the language that you have, a powerful command of the voice, will see that you end up as the #1, not just in the semi-final, but at the World Championship of Public Speaking. All the very best to you, Verity. And as they say, see you at the top, Verity. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Babu. Now let us hear from our language evaluator, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Toastmaster Abdul Rahim, the screen is yours.
Madam Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters, and our speaker, DTM Verity. They say the storytelling is the most powerful way to put ideas into the world, right? So it's indeed my honor and pleasure to listen to your speech today. As Dr. Babu said, it was pregnant with beautiful rhetorical devices, alliteration, simile, metaphor. You know, Martin Luther King made a speech, "I have a dream," which are full of rhetorical devices. Similarly, yours was such a pleasure, as it was, in fact, a music to ears, really. And some of the things I have noted down within the short time frame I had: oldest, baggiest, Halloween horror show, picking up pieces of plastic, PPP, patience of a saint, okay, story after story. And even when you mentioned those great legendary names, there was a rhetorical device. You said Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, and Mandela. So your writing of the script is amazing. The way you wrote the script, it's all about writing. Your screenplay, your story, the way you wrote it is truly a sort of the sort of stuff that dreams are made of. So it was really beautifully done. And I like the way there was a common thread running through the whole narrative. So there was no misplacement, no exaggeration. Everything was beautifully organized, lovely organization. As DTM Hisham said, the way you connected clockwise, the opening to the conclusion, that was masterpiece. However, a few minor recommendation as far as language is concerned, because it's absolutely a flawless, seamless language that you have displayed today. So I don't have much recommend as such. I'm not a very big fan of your title as such. My apologies. Somehow I feel that leaving the world has this slight shades of negativity of death. So I might want to, I might want to change the title, but it's too late now.
It's called The Challenge. I'm just gonna, the title is The Challenge.
Challenge, oh, I see.
I forgot to change, to tell everyone, so sorry.
I see. I thought it is leaving the world, you know. Or if it's a challenge, okay, I'm okay with that. And your narrative was full of 60 to 70% I saw compound and complex sentences. I would rather prefer to go a little bit of simple and short sentences, because short sentences have more power. And when you say virtual hand, I don't think you need to mention virtual, because anyway, it's an online virtual thing. So raise your hand could be more appropriate. Otherwise, you are a born storyteller and already you are #1. Congratulations to you and all the very best for the next speech. Over to the Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Please give all our evaluators a huge round of applause. Mr. Timer, Toastmaster Nagendra, would you please let us know the timing performance of our evaluators, please?
Madam Toastmaster of the day, all our evaluators were so engrossed in giving evaluations, they didn't look at the time, honestly. So it's okay. I mean, I don't see any this thing. This was more of a feedback for Verity. I think it is quite acceptable. I don't think we should, but the timing was there just for them to realize that they should wind up quickly. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed the first half half of our event. I would like to request all of you to on your camera so that we could take a group photo before we go for our first break for 10 minutes. So I would request all of you to on your cameras for our group photo.
All right, I'll be taking the group picture. Can you all hear me? See me? Naga, I don't see you on the screen. I see.
That's
you
because he's
typing.
got the timer screen on.
Naga,
But
can
I
you
do
bring your
think
face back?
Toastmaster Nagendra has one more thing to contribute as the time. I think he had a special timing report for the speaker, so I think we'll hear from him one more time. Oh, I like that.
Okay, great.
That's a nice prompt for a group picture.
All right, brilliant. So look at the camera on the count of 3. Go 1, 2, 3. Okay, we will take one more because I see some people have their eyes closed and all. And Amanda's hair is doing its own thing. So give me 1 minute. All right, let's do it again. All right, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. I see that it's not Amanda's hair. Amanda's actually stuck.
Toastmaster Naga, would you like to tell us where the speech was at 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and 7 minutes, if that note was made? Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, unfortunately for this
That's fine.
speech, I was so engrossed. I didn't know that for the next one, I am going to do that.
That's
really
an endorsement of its own. That's an endorsement.
I wanted to give some feedback to also. So I thought, I'm so
Thank you. That's fine.
that. I
The next
forgot
time.
that I was the timer.
That's great.
I'm really sorry, Verity. For the next speech, I will take notes for that. Sure.
That's great.
Please don't worry. It was 30 seconds faster than it's ever been. And I thought I was going overtime. So I don't know what happened either.
Great. So time for coffee, tea, water.
Yeah. Couple of minutes break and
think Amanda's a
Ladies
bit-
and gentlemen,
Yeah.
let's take a 10 minutes break. And after 10 minutes, now it's 8:20 p.m. here in Bahrain. So we'll be meeting at 8:30 p.m. See you all at 8:30 p.m.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. We have a few guests, I think, from Sri Lanka. Welcome, Toastmasters Anita, Toastmaster Hashan. I think I saw Toastmaster Amar, welcome. And I did see Toastmaster Dilan as well. Toastmaster Vikar, welcome. It's nice seeing you again.
Farha is also from Sri Lanka, waking up in the middle of the
Already
night.
welcome. Already welcome.
I am resident of Bahrain, not from Sri Lanka.
I know. Toastmaster Alraz, welcome, sir. It's nice having you with us. Madam Manjula, welcome. It's good having you with us. Toastmaster Manisha, welcome to BDT. Everybody is silent, which is unusual.
I think everybody has just put their pictures on and gone to have a cup of tea. So you're just speaking to a.
Okay, Mr.
bunch of
President.
pictures.
So I have to blame Naga for his virtual background. Everybody is generally stuff.
I thought you were writing down. Idiot.
I come.
Okay, so what's with the silence?
I know,
I
right?
really don't know why it is so silent.
Maybe the recommendation to pause was too much. Now everybody has taken it to heart.
Yeah, everybody is just pausing completely.
Practice regularly.
I'm having a bad internet connection.
Yeah.
I think it will help to pay the internet bill then.
Hey, come on, mother. I'm also struggling with
on a family dinner.
Why did you all leave Bahrain and go? Who told you all to go? You all left SLCS and ran away.
This is the thing that's holding me now. The rest of everything else has failed, so I'm just counting on this little gadget here. Yeah, there are certain
place having a family dinner. So I came to the balcony to log into this.
Hope you're maintaining
Thank
social
you so
distance
much.
and all that.
Sorry?
Hope you're maintaining social distance and all that.
Yeah.
2,300. Be careful. Oh, Hashan is also laughing. He also knows what 2,300 is.
We got.
Once again, the silence descends.
Is that your way of entertaining us, Farhad?
I mean, it's like back in school, you know, everybody's just gone silent as if the principal's just walked in. So you need to be that kid who gets smacked in front of the class, right?
So it's you, the backbencher, you mean? Mostly.
DTM Kuram, how's our VPPR's little girl doing? How's
Well,
baby
not yet.
Sarah?
I'll be going right after. So I haven't had the chance to go yet. Family has grown by one. So, you know.
DTM Khalid, how's your trigger finger now? DTM Khalid had a small medical emergency yesterday. He's been shooting so many people, he's got a trigger finger. He had to have an injection taken. And I like your haircut. Was it your brother?
Yeah,
Actually,
he came somewhere else, so I am here just to represent him.
Trigger fingers are fun, you know. I also had them once upon a time. There's one I'm quietly nursing back to health.
Which hand is it, Khalid? Left or the right?
Now, guys, being naughty at the moment. Naga knows.
By the way, the meeting is still being recorded, if I'm not wrong.
But it was just a genuine question. Yeah, out of concern, he was asking. It was a medical question. You know, nothing wrong.
Naga, the meeting may be virtual, but DTM Khalid is still your boss. Be very, very careful.
I'll see him.
That's why I was like,
remember, I was my left hand.
Happened. I had a close shave today morning, and everybody are this thing. I mean, Khalid's hand is problem, and your face is having an issue.
What is God doing?
What are the chances that there will be two DTM Farazes in the same meeting?
Yeah.
Both from Sri Lanka as well.
Yeah, both from Sri Lanka as well. Exactly. There you go.
Only difference is the H. H is silent.
H is silent and the hair, I guess, the color of the hair.
H is for the hair, right?
Allah, Faraz, you dye your hair white.
Yeah, he's talking to you, Junior. He's talking to you.
yeah, Faraz Junior.
You know, there was once a funny incident. There was a speech contest, Sri Lanka Club speech contest, and I went a little early and I was practicing on stage and all that. And then DTM Salim, Mohammed Salim, not district director, the other Salim, he walks in and says, "You're practicing? I thought you're the timer." Right? And I didn't realize what he was on about. I said, "No, I'm not the timer. I'm competing today." Later I find out, guess who's the timer? This guy.
Yeah. Many times when I was speaking to Hisham as well, and I'm like, also Faraz will be there. I have to clarify. Bahrain Faraz, the younger one.
the more handsome, the smarter one.
We should go with like Faraz Senior, Faraz Junior, you know? So like
that's how we do it in.
It comes like, you know, Faraz.
Yeah,
We have the same problem with Khalids also now. Now I have 4 Khalids in my phone book. Khalid Jalal,
And all
Khalid
of them are
Abdullah,
DTMs.
Khalid Amin, Khalid Ismail.
All DTMs. Alva, you were saying something?
Yeah, one is Faraz, one is Farhaz.
Yeah,
No,
but
when you say it, like,
it,
when it rolls off the tongue, it goes Faraz.
yeah, exactly. Even me.
The enunciation doesn't come as Farhaz bhai, go like Faraz bhai.
Yeah. And then both of us stand and look.
Even all the trophies will go to our Faraz.
Yeah, oh, that should be nice. Because who's gonna send them to Sri Lanka and whatever, you know? Let's just give it to Faraz Jr. now. Okay. This is the part where I mute myself now.
I don't know. I need to figure out a way to get my trophies down if it ends up to go for us.
I can keep them safe for you. Don't worry.
Okay, once again. Yeah. It's okay. Just hang on to them. I trust you. Okay.
I'd like to point out that as of now, we are good on time. So hopefully we remain good on time.
Yeah, we can start now. Amanda?
Yes. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the second half of our scintillating event. In a few seconds, we will welcome back to stage DTM Verity Prize to deliver her second speech of the evening. The speech that we are all hoping to see at the finals and winning the finals of the World Champion of Public Speaking. Are you ready? I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Are you ready?
Yes, Madam.
Ready.
We are indeed.
Ready.
Then let us welcome our champion once more. Verity Prize. Change the way you look. Change the way you look, Verity Prize.
Do you know what the one thing you are guaranteed in life is? Other than death and taxes? Hard times. For me, turning 40 was hard. I had left another relationship, let go of ever being a mother, and was living in my sister and brother-in-law's spare room. For my ego, this was rock bottom. So I hid in the spare room, eating ice cream, binge watching Netflix, and nursing a deep sense of shame that my life didn't look the way it was supposed to. How is it that when you are at your worst, you will always run into someone who is at their best? It was a Tuesday morning. I had dragged myself to the shops thinking, no one I know is going to be here. But there she was, that friend, you know the one. Their life is perfect and they love to tell you. Are you married? Wow, with twins and your own business, and you've just bought a house. I'm living in a spare room. I wanted to die. My life was a mess. I was a mess. The spare room was a mess. But this was the mess where I found the last letter my dad ever wrote me. Tears filled my eyes as I read his familiar, faded handwriting. Verity, when life gets hard, look for the good, my darling. and watch for a miracle, because I'm watching too. Fresh out of miracles, Dad. And how? How can I look for the good in all of this? To prove my point, I went to Facebook. Yep. No one I knew was living in a spare room. But the letter kept looking at me. It was almost as if it was whispering, look for the good. My ego said, I'm sorry, we're just going to look a mess in the spare room. But the letter kept looking. Now, if anyone knew how to look for the good, it was my dad. He wasn't a glass half full guy. He was a, aren't I lucky I've got a glass guy? When we lost everything, moved country, and started over living in a caravan, he just looked at us and went, camping every day. When he was forced to sell insurance door to door, he gave me his naughty look and went, watch out for my knock-knock jokes. And in our last ever phone call, even with a raging fever on his way to hospital, do you know what he said? Don't worry, V. You know how much I love breakfast in bed. Shame hit me like a bus. My whole life, Dad had been showing me how to look for the good, and I was only seeing it now. I looked at that school friend and I thought, it's good. She's got things I'm gonna get. I looked at the spare room. I thought, it's good. My family is giving me a safe place to start over. I looked at my love life, and do you know what I thought? It is so good I didn't marry any of my exes. When I looked for the good, I started to feel good. So I made a commitment to find one thing every day to look for the good in. Family, friends, food, failure, everything was fair game. And for the first time in my life, my ego, I finally started enjoying where I was. I stopped worrying about where I wasn't. And the miracle that happened, I moved out of the spare room, much to my sister's relief. I met my husband, much to my relief. I had a baby at 44, much to my doctor's surprise. But imagine if I'd kept believing that when life is hard, I can't be happy. How much ice cream would I have eaten? My dad's letter catapulted me in to what positive psychologists have been seeing for years, that something as simple as practicing daily gratitude can make dealing with a hard time much easier. This pandemic has been a hard time for millions of us. Lives, loved ones, livelihoods lost. But it's not that hard to look for the good in it. We've seen neighbors serenading each other through lockdown, businesses pivoting and innovating, and people getting to attend international conferences from the comfort of their homes. And it's also introduced us to that one very special person. Can you see me? Am I on mute? But even if hard times are really hard right now, if things feel a mess, your goals are just out of reach, or you're just tired of running into that friend, something as seemingly simple as remembering to look for the good can change everything. Because while hard times are out of your control, the one thing that is in your control is how you look at things. And as Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And look at me. I've changed a spare room into a stage. Contest chair.
Thank you, DTM Verity Prize. Please give DTM Verity a huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, let us take 5 minutes for the evaluators to finalize their notes. Moderator, if you could please release the second audience survey now. Thank you.
Amanda, I'm not evaluating this one because my really get all the essence of the speech. I'm so sorry, my apologies, but I don't want to evaluate a speech I didn't hear fully.
Okay, Dr. Babu, noted. Thank you. Mr. Timer, would you please inform me at the completion of 5 minutes, please?
5 minutes up.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Mr. Timer, Toastmaster Nagendra, would you please let us know the timing performance of our speaker? The screen is yours.
The speaker took 7 minutes and 28 seconds this time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nagendra. Now, we have come to the evaluation session. Once again, let us hear from our first evaluator, DTM Prince George. DTM Prince, the screen is yours.
DTM Verity, thank you for a very engaging speech, which actually reminded us of all the downfalls, barriers, and all the rock bottom phases of our lives that we've all gone through. We've all gone through it. It just reminds us of those. And it also tells us how we can come out of it using just what's there between our 2 years. That's what is the most important thing. It's all about what we see in a situation. So thank you for putting that forward. I like how you moved through your speech. You first spoke to us about the challenges you faced, the spare room that you were in. You spoke about your dad's personality, his character. Then you also spoke to us about the letter that your dad had left for you. You also topped that up with a personal example, saying what you have done different to capitalize on the letter, what you learned from it. And then, of course, you gave us the call for action. What I liked specifically was about how you built up your dad's character. You showed him, or you projected him as a very jovial person, someone who's extremely positive, someone who sees a glass, we see it half full, he just is happy with the glass in his hand. So I could actually connect with him as a friend, as someone who's whom I would love to speak to and talk uh, about all the things in the world. He seemed like a very approachable person. So I like the way you build that character. What I also liked is the placement of the letter you had, because you were very specific about placing the letter on the right part of your screen through how you were looking at it. So every time you spoke about the letter, you looked at that side of it. So which was which is good. So I know where your letter is placed as well. Uh, Also, yeah. So this is just an overall of what I liked about it. The call for action, of course, is about look for the good. That's something that you mentioned. It's on the lines of count your blessings. Look for something which is good always, rather than looking at the parts which probably pull us down. And look at the miracles in life that come past you, that you will cross in your life, because it will happen every time you look at something positively. Good things will happen. So these are the things I really liked about your speech, DTM Verity, and I enjoyed listening to it, especially because it was inspirational and motivational as well, along with being a very hard-hitting speech. Now, just a couple of things, minor changes that I think you can consider for your speech is, firstly, there was a part where you spoke about dragged myself. So in that, if you could show or rather enact it about dragging yourself, with showing how a child would drag his feet or something like that. So that would make me feel that you're actually dragging yourself to a certain place, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is about the placement of the spare room. So there was a part of your speech where you said the spare room. You showed your hands towards the right. So now I'm imagining that the right part of your screen or your body is your spare room. Whereas while you ended it, you showed your whole room as your spare room, right? So just as a connection point of view, I would suggest that you choose either of them and make that your spare room, either the right part of your screen or the entire room. So I leave that to you completely. You can make your choice on what you would like to select as your spare room. It's just so that the audience can have a visual understanding of what exactly is your spare room. All right. So that's the second thing. And the third part is also from the language perspective. Maybe you could say something like, my life was as dark as a rain cloud. Use a simile or something that shows us that you've really hit rock bottom. So that emotion, that dropping your pitch down, and using similes which really make us feel that you are really low in your life. And from there, how you you bounce back into life. That's something that I would love to hear also from the language perspective to make it a little more effective. So overall, DTM Verity, I was very happy with your speech. You had an amazing speech where you actually told us how we should live our life, counting the miracles, counting the positivity in our life rather than just getting stuck up with the negativities, and of moving forward positively, and using your father as an example. Of course, it was tremendous. Also, if you could just take care of one, dragging yourself, the action, the spare room placement, and also using the simile or your language, I think you would be up for a fantastic speech, even better than where you are right now. All the best, DTM Verity. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Prince. Now let me call upon our second evaluator. DTM Nancy George, the screen is yours. Is DTM Nancy with us here?
I don't see her.
Okay, so until DTM Nancy joins us, we'll call our third evaluator for tonight, and that is none other than DTM Hisham Jeffrey. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Again, a speech that was simple in its beauty, but so applicable in terms of its message. The opening is a hallmark of both the speeches that you have presented, DTM Verity, and this one too had humor. It was relatable because probably a variety of the judges and the audience would be above 40. And you applied that vocal variety message almost instantaneously, because in this phrase you said rock bottom. So you applied the pause and you applied that higher and lower vocal variety change within a matter of a few minutes. That was amazingly well done. And then you went on to speak about something that is the hallmark of this pandemic time period, which is binge eating and Netflix. Now, the power of that, it creates the connection between you and me, even though we are physically separated by so many hundreds and thousands of kilometers. I like this sentence that you mentioned. You will always meet someone when you are at rock bottom, you will always bump into someone who is at the top of their game. Now, what that did to me was I went, and that for me was a magic moment in your speech. I like that creation of that character, that friend. And then you really brought it to the top by using this beautiful triad to bring out the humor. I was a mess. My life was a mess. The spare room was a mess. And I thought that was great writing to emphasize humor. One of the hallmarks of your speaking is the ability you have to evoke emotion with one sentence. And there are two examples of this in your speech. The first one is the transition from this fun friend into the last letter of your dad. You moved from one scene that was fun to the other scene that was poignant with sorrow with one sentence. And you said, fresh out of miracles, Dad. And that I thought was a powerful moment. I like the fact that in the second sentence, in the second situation, where you move from your dad to your internal failure, you use just one sentence and you evoke that emotion. And that sentence was, shame hit me like a bus. And that to me is amazing writing and fabulous delivery. I like the fact that you used an audience question. Do you know what I thought? Obviously we don't, but you give us the chance to enter that spare room in your mind. And I like this sentence that you wrote. Family, food, and failure all were fair game. The repetition of the F word, and then so much of humor lightly sprinkled through the speech, much to my sister's relief, much to my relief, and to my doctor's surprise. The rule of three, and then that misdirection as well. I like the universal message, daily gratitude for a lifetime of happiness, and so applicable in this time period today. I like the fact that you used that Zoom member that we always see. Can you see me? Am I on mute? I saw you having fun, being spontaneous, presenting your true essence. And I felt that you could have easily gone on for another 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours easily with this speech. And to me, that means that your message came truly from the heart. I would, if it was me, I would think of leaving the audience with this as the last sentence. What will you turn your spare room into? That, if it was me, I would think about that. And you are the master of words, voice, eyes, face, hands, humor, and evoking emotion. I just have one final recommendation, and that is think of taking some time off, going to your favorite coffee shop, turning off the internet, leaving your phone aside, and then simply put yourself into the shoes of Michelangelo. Look at this block of marble that is your message. Chip away all of the evaluations that we have given you. Take what's truly in your heart and then craft your Sistine Chapel that the world is waiting to see. I wish you all the best. God bless you. Good luck. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, DTM Hisham. Once again, let me call Toastmaster Abdul Rahim for the language evaluation. Toastmaster Abdul Rahim, the screen is yours.
Madam Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters, DTM Verity, good evening. Verity, and so once again, thank you very much for a beautiful, wonderful speech. Now, let's see a few things how we can make it a little differently as far as language is concerned. You mentioned at the very beginning of your speech how your life had hit a dead end. Probably we could say here, do you know how my life was? Ice cream, Netflix, television, and remote. Could have been more effective. Then you spoke about Tuesday. So you could probably here say, it was a Tuesday. I did hope it was a Tuesday with Mori, but it was not. I'm sure you know about Tuesdays with Mori, right? So it will be a little bit of sense of humor there, you know. And you spoke about a raging fever. So you could probably say, imagine, ladies and gentlemen, running a temperature of 100 plus and still working. And then you spoke about ego. Here you could probably say, ladies and gentlemen, love doesn't break you, but ego does. And then you spoke about having baby at 44. Since we have, as you know very well, that we have around 5 marks for audience interaction. So a couple of questions would be handy, as Isham said. So you could probably say here, how many of you had a baby at 44? Don't worry, I had. So that could be a little bit of humor. And then you spoke about shame hitting. Okay, since you are a great fan of alliteration, so I coined a different version, different sentence for this. Shame hit me like a flame. How about that one? Right. Anyway, so I liked your speech for a few things. Change the way you look. You did change your attire also for this speech, which is very nice. I observed it. And the way you started your both speeches with a question, you know, the Toastmaster Mark Brown, the 1995 world champion, he said there are 6 different strategies how you can open your speech, like you did, by questions, by a relevant joke, by an anecdote, by a personal story, by a prop. So there are 6 strategies. I'm glad that you opened with a nice interactive question. And then also you, towards the conclusion, you brought in the Wayne Dwyer timeless quotation, which says, if you change the way you look at, the things will change. Because I'm also a fan of Wayne Dwyer. So that all in all, it was a beautiful speech, full of wisdom, seamlessly, flawlessly narrated. Again, a common thread running through the whole narrative, and a lot of wisdom and a lot of message to take home. And I wish you once again all the very best. And over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdul Rahim. Please give all our evaluators a huge round of applause for their beautiful evaluation and motivation. I hope you all have had an enjoyable, entertaining, and educational evening, my dear friends, guests, and fellow Toastmasters. We have come to the end of a very special evening. We have witnessed two outstanding speeches from a champion speaker, a series of supreme evaluation from a distinguished panel of evaluators, and also your contribution as a very special distinguished audience. As we draw the curtains on the evening agenda, it is my pleasure to thank you all for your amazing participation and support. Until we meet again in another event, another evening, and another special day, good night, take care, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, DTM
everyone.
Verity, for making it to our meeting. We really appreciate
Thank you.
it. It's a
Thank you,
blessing to
DTM
have
Verity.
you.
Thank you,
An
DTM
hour and a half
Verity.
on the dot.
Very good.
Well done.
Well
My
done.
heart
Well
is
done.
full. I can't thank you all enough. The support is humbling.
You know, Verity, what makes you stand apart is your natural style of speaking. Unlike many of the champion speakers who put on very exaggerated, mannerisms and tones and whatever you call it. You continue your natural style of speaking, and that's very endearing, actually. And please stick to that.
Thank
It
you.
comes
Thank
across very strongly on the screen. That's very true.
Yes, correct. So
Oh,
I wish
good.
you all the best.
My apologies
Thank you.
for my inability
Thank you.
All the best, Verity.
to evaluate your second speech, but you are amazing. I will listen to the recording of the second speech because I was looking forward to that, but I missed it.
Oh, I'm
Sincere
so sorry.
apologies.
Oh, so frustrating, the internet, when it doesn't work.
Sincere, but great event, Hisham.
I have the timing, which if you
there we go.
Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, maybe I didn't hear the contest master, which you would generally acknowledge the contest master. I didn't hear, probably you didn't. Okay, it's not there. Okay, so that's fine. So you said I had dragged myself to the shop at 1 minute, and you said wanted to die at 1:38. Wanted, and then reading the letter, tears filled my eyes, was between 2 and 2:04. And the letter kept looking, was at 3 minutes. Shame hit me, was at 4 minutes. The three triads of FFF, family, food, and whatever, came at 4:57. And at 5, everything was whatever it is, it came at 5 minutes. Everything was. And at 6 minutes, you had this pandemic has been a hard time. And at 6:11 was the next letter, the 4 L's. I don't know what, I can't make it, it's just of the LLLL, yeah. So that was at 6:11. And the home comfort was at 6:32. And at 7, it was someday is seemingly simple, was at 7 minutes. And that hard time came at 7:10 approximately. So as a tip for, in my opinion, to get a couple of few seconds from this, I would say there is no need for you to pick up your phone, because I think that would make it a little longer. Maybe you can just say Facebook and you can just do this, yeah? Because people can relate, okay, you are looking at a mobile phone. So it's just a thought. You can look at it if you can get the timing right. We don't want you to go over time, yeah.
No. Thank you for this is so helpful. Thank you. And the feedback tonight has been exceptional. I feel deeply blessed. I've got so much to work with, little tweaks to make, things to consider. It's been incredible. Thank you for gifting me this opportunity.
Verity, may I just make one comment, one observation? There was one stage when you turned right and you were talking about something there. All of a sudden, your voice just completely dropped momentarily. So you might want to figure out your positioning of your mic or the sound device so that, like, even a momentary drop, especially in a crucial moment of your speech, can kind of completely disconnect. So you might just want to check that. If the recording is available, you should see that it was just turned around and then there was like, just see that
Thank
little
you.
silly things like that can sometimes be important. So.
No, very important. Thank you. I mean, the only upside is the judges are instructed not to judge down sound, lighting, or video quality, thankfully. But you still want it to be the best it can be. So it's good for me to know.
Yeah, why take a chance? And especially if what you're saying at that point is crucial and they don't hear it, you might just lose half a mark.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. Wow. Well, I'm sending gratitude and love from Cape Town all the way up through Africa and to where all of you are in the Middle East. It's absolutely amazing to connect in this way and to share this journey with you. So I'll be flying the Region 11, and I know we've got another fantastic competitor from Region 11. So hopefully we both meet each other in the finals, because luckily we're not in the same semi-final. So we just need to both win our semi-finals, and then I'll meet her.
That would be something. That would really be something. Good luck,
Thank
DTM
you.
Verity.
Good night.
All the best to the semifinals. Good luck.
Good luck.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Oh, VP is driving. DTM Khalid, how are you doing? Better? Toastmaster Amanda, nicely done. Thank you for that.
Very well compared, Amanda, and great show, Hisham. Sorry I missed out on the second evaluation, but I just couldn't do something.
Dr. Babu, one evaluation of Dr. Babu is worth hundreds of others.
Come on.
Let's stop the recording.
But it's true. Come on. How many of us here can claim to be world champion?
That's true. That's true. That's
I'm
very
humble.
true.
I'm humble.
That's the reason why we wanted to give her this specialized panel, and it's unfortunate that the internet decided to mess it up for us. But I think she would have got value even from the audience survey as well. So she'll get the timing, and I will share the recording with her. So we should be fine. So,
Hisham, I adjusted my duty to be here today only because you told me.
Oh, Doctor, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Just felt I have to do it. That's why.
Thank you, Doctor. I am really thankful. Thank you. Naga, thank you for the virtual background, the agenda, the flyer, the timing, the survey. Thank you, sir. Brilliant. That is Naga. Please write a book, do an online course on how you manage these things. DTM Khalid, please promote the man.
He's already a boss in the office. So.
DTM Mona, how are you? Did you enjoy the event? Toastmaster Amro, welcome. I'm sorry I didn't see you earlier. Madam Manjula, I hope you enjoyed the event.
Khalid, Hisham, Faraz,
yes,
Sushma, Naga, Mona, Manjula, Amro, can I leave now?
Yes, Doctor. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Take care. It was good seeing you.
Faraz, regards to Fatima also. Take care.
I'll tell her, yes.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Khalid, what happened to your specs, man? Did you break it or did Naga punch you or what happened?
No, sometimes I can see very clearly.
Oh, really? A bit like me now. Huh?
It's the same thing, right? Can I see?
Yeah.
Or not see me? It's the same thing. So.
Yeah, it is the same thing. Yeah. Show us your finger, the trigger finger. I like to see it. Whoa, which one is it? Huh?
Exactly here.
That's the spot. That's the trigger spot. I had it on the right hand, and then I went and broke the right finger so that the trigger finger became a non-issue on the right. And then it started developing on the left. So now I have a problem here.
I had an injection. They gave me injection straight here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. The injection was more painful than the actual pain.
Yeah, I know. Why did you go for the injection? I didn't. I just let the body take care of it. And thank God now this one, there's a slight trigger in the morning, but it's okay.
It was very severe. It was very severe. Couldn't
Like it was literally getting stuck, is it?
Yeah, it was getting stuck. My hands are not coming down. See, now it can come out.
Okay.
I was not able to, you see here.
Okay.
Since you have the trigger finger, we should then get you a gun then.
He already has one. He uses it when necessary.
He uses his right hand for that, so no problem. This is
Actually, he just whacks. He doesn't need a gun. Ah.
You're still recording, by the way.
I know, we're still recording. Maybe we should stop.
I don't know.
Can
I
somebody
thought you
please
stopped.
stop it? No, it's still recording. Can somebody please stop before we incriminate ourselves any further?